elect. The 77-year-old long-term opposition leader was running for president for the 5th time. He has challenged the results in the previous 2 elections, including successfully in 2017. This time round, the chairman of the electoral body, GASHEGU, said he got 48.8% of the vote in last Tuesday's election compared to Mr. Ruto's 50.5%. Mr. Odinga accused Mr. Chebukati of gross impunity, saying his team will pursue all legal options. He called his declaration a major setback to Kenya's democracy that could trigger a political crisis. He said that Mr. Chebukati went against the law by announcing the results without the backing of his fellow commissioners. But an ally of Mr. Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, told the press that commissioners are required to collate the results but do not determine the result. Moving on, some Ethiopians have started calling Kenya's President-elect William Ruto Ilma Abagada, meaning the son of the traditional chief of Ethiopia's Oromo people, to show their affection. It appears Ethiopians are showing a growing interest in Kenyan politics. A picture of Mr. Ruto wearing the traditional attire of a community in northern Kenya and a video of him speaking the Borana language while campaigning are trending on social media. Borana communities all have one traditional leader, the Abagada, practicing a traditional system of governance that is recognized by the UN's heritage body UNESCO. Some on social media claim Mr. Ruto, who is an ethnic Kalenjin from the Kenya's Rift Valley region, is from the Borana community. Both communities have produced some of the world's best long-distance runners. Kenya and Ethiopia have strong relations, and Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed was among the first world leaders to congratulate His Excellency Ruto on his win. Still on the continent of Africa, the United States has sanctioned senior Liberian government officials and over their alleged involvement in corruption, and President George Weah has suspended them and ordered an investigation. The 3 officials include Nathaniel McGill, who is President George Weah's chief of staff and Minister for Presidential Affairs. Others are Seima Sirenia Cephas, the Solicitor General, and Chief Prosecutor Bill Tuehwe, the head of the Port of Monrovia. The trio are accused of undermining democracy in Liberia for their own personal benefit, according to a statement. The President's Chief of Staff is accused of receiving bribes from potential investors and accepting kickbacks for government contracts. None of the 3 officials has responded to the accusations. President Weah said the whole matter has raised a serious concern. Moving on, a week after an apparent Ukrainian attack on a Russian military base in occupied Crimea, an arms store at another military facility has been hit by a series of explosions. Russian officials said a fire triggered the blasts in the Zankoe area before blaming sabotage. A separate fire broke out at a power substation and a railway was damaged. A string of blasts last week destroyed Russian warplanes at a Black Sea base on the Crimean coast. Ukraine has never publicly admitted that attack, but Presidential Office Advisor Mikhailo Podolyak described the latest incident as demilitarization in action, indicating that the explosions were not accidental. A Ukrainian Air Force Command spokesman said the base was used by some of Russia's military helicopters, but blamed the blasts on Russia's failing to observe fire precautions. Russia gave no indication of the kind of sabotage involved in today's attack, but the FSB security service said Ukrainian saboteurs had also blown up 6 electricity pylons this month inside Russia itself. Elsewhere, a group of 38 migrants, including a heavily pregnant woman, have been found stranded on a tiny unnamed island along the Turkish-Greek border. The 22 men, 9 women and 7 children say they have been on the Evros River islet since mid-July. After being located yesterday, they were taken to mainland Greece. The country's migration minister said the group were all in very good condition and the pregnant woman had been taken to hospital as precaution. However, at least one child died on the islet, which is near the Greek town of Lavara, according to the group of human rights agencies. Greek police has also affirmed the incident. Migration Minister Notis Mitarachi visited the Evros region today, while he did not confirm the child's death, but said the government would work with the International Red Cross and Red Crescent to retrieve the body to ensure dignified burial. And over to Pakistan, 2 policemen guarding a polio vaccination team have been shot dead by gunmen in the northwestern part of Pakistan. The team of 2 vaccinators was unharmed, according to police. Local polio vaccination teams are often targeted by anti-vaccine militants, some of whom claim vaccination is a Western plot to sterilize Muslims. Pakistan and Afghanistan are the only countries where polio, which in severe cases can be fatal or leave patients paralyzed, remains endemic. The 2 gunmen had been hiding near a small water channel before opening fire on the guards from a very close range, according to a local policeman. The incident happened in Kota Azam Tank district in northwestern Pakistan. Many polio workers and their guards have been killed by militants in Pakistan over anti-vaccine sentiments, which include the belief that the vaccine contained pig fat. China's decision to fire missiles over Taiwan must be contested, according to a top U.S. military commander. 7th Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Carl Thomas said otherwise such action by China would become the norm, calling it a gorilla in the room. Beijing held military drills around the self-governing island earlier this month, but did not confirm if any missiles passed directly over it. Tensions soared after U.S. politician Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan again in August. Her high-profile visit infuriated Beijing, which claims the self-ruled island as part of its territory. Today's comments by Vice Admiral Thomas are significant. Based in Yokosuka, Japan, the 7th Fleet is the largest forward deployed fleet in the U.S. Navy, with some 50 to 70 vessels and submarines, and is a key part of its military presence in the region. And finally, the first UN ship to leave Ukraine since the Russian invasion has set sail for the drought-hit Horn of Africa. The MV Brave Commander departed from the Black Sea port of Pivdeni laden with 23,000 tons of wheat intended for Ethiopia. The UN's World Food Programme, which bought more than half its wheat from Ukraine before the war, says 345 million people in 82 countries are now facing acute food insecurity and need urgent humanitarian support. More than a dozen ships carrying grain have left Ukraine since a UN brokered deal to allow safe passage of ships was signed on the 22nd of July. Well, it's in that regard that I also remind you of the Karamoja project, where our own are dying of hunger. We have seen them. What you see in pictures is not an artistic impression. It is not exaggerated. Those are our own dying of hunger. That is why Pastor Robert Kayanja is calling upon all of us to join him as he delivers food aid to Karamoja. You can send your seed to the numbers that will be availed during the services that are going to be running here on Channel 44. I also remind you of the riot rally that is happening this Saturday. Pastor Robert Kayanja and Robert Jr. are inviting all of us to come and attend this riot rally. It's basically for young people. If you are a young person, please come and attend. You will be blessed. It's none like you've seen before. I remain Mercy GASHEGU SSEMBATYA. I was joined by Livingstone Kawesi for sign language interpretation and translation. God bless you and good evening.